Adaptations in the Wide World of Frogs, Lesson 10. Learning targets. I can write the end of a porcoy tale that provides a resolution and wraps up my story. I can use temporal words and phrases to show the order of events. What is a resolution? What are temporal words and phrases? Why do we need temporal words in a narrative? Those are all things you're going to think about and consider throughout this lesson. So word web, temporal words and phrases, and you can also go to page 34 in your Module 2 workbook, and here's some temporal words and phrases. Next, then, second, afterwards, first. Linking words and phrases in your workbook. These words show the order of events in a narrative, and that's important. Okay, so think about our class story about why pollywogs wiggle. Think about, because each class has their own story, what are the temporal words that you notice throughout the class story? Can you name them? All right, now you're going to look at the narrative checklist on pages 25 and 26. And while you're looking at that, you're going to reread your writing on pages 27 to 30. And you're going to check and see if you have met those standards. And if you haven't, that's okay. Go back and take your time and add to it. So, did I use words that show when the events happen? Like those temporal words, first, next, then, last, in the end. I help readers understand important parts of the story by describing what they might see, hear, taste, smell, feel, if they were there. So using those senses. If you didn't include that in your story, go ahead and add that. I tell my story in a way that helps the reader imagine the character, settings, and events. Narrative texts are about real or imagined experiences. So they have a beginning, middle, and end. We have done this slide several times, so I'm not going to go ahead and go and read it. If you want to, you can press pause and read it on your own. But again, we've covered this many, many times. So, think about our class story. Was our problem resolved? Was it wrapped up? What was the problem in your class story? And how was the problem resolved in the class story? And how is the problem wrapped up? So, now you're going to go back to page 19 in your workbook and think about, did we get a resolution and a point to the story? Now again, both classes had different stories, so you're going to think about your class's story. Okay, again, you're going back and you're reading pages 27 and 32, and you're going to check your narrative writing checklist to see if you met those components. So, you're going to start planning a new porcoy tale. So I think that was on page 33. You're going to look at what your why question was. Your new why question, right? And the new why question, I'm going to just skip to here, and you're going to use that new why question. Maybe it was, why do frogs ribbit? So you're going to start filling out the graphic organizers on page 35 through 36 in your workbook. Okay, and start planning your story because you're going to use this graphic organizer to help you with the end of Unit 1 assessment.